The absolute Batmobile is here. Hey Internet, I'm Chris, and this is a place on the internet where I talk about comics, movies, games, and things I'm generally passionate about. Absolute Batman number 2 follows up on the amazing first issue by Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta, and I have to say, it's just as good. Absolute Batman number 1, I think, bar none, was the biggest first issue of the year. Obviously, number 1 in sales when it came to October. It's on its fourth, probably going to go to a fifth printing, maybe a 12th printing by the time the year's over. But it was fantastic. It was Scott Snyder doing what Scott Snyder does when it comes to Batman, really sort of breaking new ground, flipping the mythos on its head, while sort of being true to what makes Batman Batman. Like, although you're stripping away the money, you're making him really young, you're making him, his mom is alive, and you're making the rogues actually friends, it's still Batman. It's someone, it's a character that is so ingrained in Gotham. And I think Scott Snyder does a really good job of making Gotham itself a character. And in issue 2, that's highlighted. And in this issue, it opens a lot more bombastic. It's a lot more fast paced because you open with Batman going against Black Mass party animals who are wreaking havoc across the city. They're amping up their attacks. Crime is up. Gordon is in the hospital. You have all these things going on, and it's kind of like the perfect place for Batman to sort of live and exist. And this is where Nick Dragotta's art really shines. I think when that first image of Absolute Batman came out, people were like, wow, like, this is insane. Like, how is this going to even work? And just seeing the way Dragotta is able to bring to life this insane take where he has all these different gadgets. Even though he isn't rich, he's using everything, he's using the environment, he's really smart. And it's great to see the way they make this Batman more resourceful. Although he does not have the money, he's constantly Batman. Even when he's Bruce Wayne, he's working towards being Batman, which I think is fantastic. And what Scott is setting up with this world of the Batman, and this is just going to be the absolute universe in general, because it was created by Darkseid Energy. Batman is the chaos in Gotham City, like, whereas the villains are the order. And that's also highlighted with his relationship with Alfred. Alfred is also order. He is a former special ops, and he sort of approaches things in a much different way. And I think it's really funny to see their dynamic where Alfred thinks he's adding value, and he's like, hey, like, you're doing these things, but you're young and you're crash and you're crazy. But then as soon as he goes to hell, Batman's like, I already know that. I am not trapped. There is a giant Batmobile like right under us, so we're good. And it just highlights just how cool and awesome this Batman is. He's got a plan for everything, even though he's really young. And, there's a lot of great character moments, too. You see Bruce playing poker with Oz, Harvey, the Riddler, Croc, and you just see the way they're dynamic. And I wonder, there are sort of, what's great about the scene and the way Scott writes it and the way Dragotta sort of paints it out is that you kind of see their dynamics, and you can see how potentially their paths can shift and they can divert as time goes on. So it's going to be really interesting to see as time goes on where all of these characters land. And it goes to show you that it's not going to be something that's going to happen in this first arc, the zoo. It's going to be something that plays out over years, which is exciting to know that Scott Snyder's locked in for that long, because we could get a really iconic run that matches what he did on the New 52 with the Court of Owls. And, I think what's really cool too is the fact that the origin, because his mom survives, you kind of get to see how much his dad meant to him, and also how angry he is still from that event. Another insane thing is that he visits Joe Chill in jail. It's not said what they talk about, but it is an interesting take and a way Scott's able to change things, and not in an offensive way, because there's so many things that you can just easily look at. It's like, oh, like, that's just like, he's pulling a stunt here, he's just trying to be different and stuff like that. Everything like matters and feels like it's true to this world, and it feels new. Like, I feel like I'm experiencing what Batman should be in 2024, which for new readers is exciting. And I think as I've been doing this channel and talked a lot about Absolute Batman, it's been great to see the enthusiasm around it. And it is easily one of the books that I am excited to come out and trade and just immediately give to people that was like, hey, I want to read a good Batman book. It's like, here you go. It's already a certified classic. And Batman number 2 again follows up on all those things, and it follows that structure of, at the end there's a character tease that's incredibly important to the Batman mythos. So we see Selina for the first time as a child, and I wonder if it's gonna be what the third issue is gonna be about in terms of flashing back to Bruce's and Selina's relationship. At the end of the first issue, Absolute Joker was teased, but I feel like that's not going to come until at least the end of this first arc. But with this tease, I feel like they're going to follow up a little bit more just to show like where Bruce is, because after the death of his father, he kind of locks himself in, puts himself away from his friends, but Selina sort of sneaks in his room and asks, "Hey, let's hang out." And it'll be great to see what they're able to do. Oh, and another cool thing is just going back to sort of like how smart Bruce is just, it was cool to kind of see that he doesn't have one bat cave, he has many. He has safe houses, so he just has this network of tunnels in the sewers, obviously safe houses, that ones we saw in the previous issue. So it is funny seeing Alfred's kind of chasing him around and using his old methods and not really, he can't figure him out, like and it's funny because this Bruce is so big. You're like, how is he able to slip away? It reminds me of the Penguin, Oz in the Penguin, because if you watch that show, there's so many times where Oz is like tied up in something and then he just like fucking weasels out of it like really quickly, like he's John Wick or something. So that was funny and it adds to the character and stuff. So Absolute Batman number 2 is incredible. It's absolutely insane. I am loving this series. It's something I look forward to every month now, and it's good for the comic book industry, and I hope it's reflected in the sales in comic shops. Obviously, in a distributor level, it's been a hyper success. So I'm looking forward to Absolute Batman number 3, and I'll definitely be reviewing it on the channel when it comes out. But let me know what you think. Did you pick up Absolute Batman number 2? Do you think it followed up well on the themes of Absolute Batman number 1? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace.